All right, it's all set up. All right, YOLO moments. We're gonna be going 8K today. 8K. See how the hell it's gonna look on the video. I wasn't completely happy with the recent videos that I did in terms of quality, but that's okay. You know, I'm still trying out. Today will be the first time I'm shooting 8K. I thought maybe I wouldn't need it, but seeing how the video kind of handles lesser resolutions, it's not that great. The reason 8K makes sense, 8K sounds crazy, right? But the reason it makes sense on a device like this is because it's 360, right? Now let me see, where are you? Okay, you're there. So I'm just gonna make sure I don't bump this camera up into something relatively tall, because the camera is pretty tall. So, it's because when you zoom in, right? When you zoom into footage, it becomes very grainy. That's the main deal. That's the big deal with why you need such high resolutions. Now, you might be wondering, where the hell are we right now? Where is this beautiful place? This place, I'm gonna tell you right now, it is nothing too special. What this is actually, in this society, in this area, this is a village, right? And it's not far from my home. I live just about 100 meters off that way. However, I really like this place. It's beautiful, isn't it? You might be seeing these houses are like, they're kind of like cozy, but they're also very tall. I mean, look at that one right there. Look at what you got there. You got beautiful, you know, long, tall houses, right? And you got like this like front gardens, sort of, however you want to explain them, with very narrow alleys, as you can see, right? Now, this is called a village here in China. And the reason I wanted to show you is this is one of the fundamental, how to say, sort of things that made this society what it is today. Historically, back in, oh, by the way, I'm no expert, right? So I'm just a dude that's a little bit interested in this kind of stuff, but I'm no expert in it by any means. Back when the land reform was happening, which I think was 1950, something right, somewhere around there. What they did was that the peasants didn't own any land, and the peasants were pretty much the majority of this agricultural society. So they had a land reform. The government made something called a land reform for the people, where they would, you know, lot out these squares of land, or in some cases pentagons of land, whatever it is, as you can see, matching and aligning with the circumference of the buildings at the base, right? And the people could essentially choose to do whatever they wanted with the land. Now, and this is, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that the government also helped them build homes. Hello. Hey. Build homes and pretty much do whatever they wanted with it. The incentive was then for to invest in it. Obviously make some sort of, you know, continue to do their agriculture as they were doing, or even better, make a business out of it, right? So you can make, I mean, today there's a lot of type of business. I don't know what they did in the beginning, but today people make a lot of things with these lands. They either make rentals, they make, I don't know, hair salons, they make small shops at the base, and then live at the top. There's all kinds of, and rentals is quite common. So I'll get into that later and why it's so damn cheap to live in China. It really is extremely cheap. Was that a fish in the goddamn pond? So what you have here essentially is a government sponsored, how to say, like a garden, kind of. Not really. I mean, it's not considered a garden. And when I say garden, I mean a closed society, a closed community, right? So it's not that, obviously. It's obviously free for me to come in here. Now I wanted you to especially take note in that right there, that temple, this pond that we got going on here. In the back where we came from, there was also a bathroom, right? So not only did they lot out the land for the people, they also gave them some basic necessities for them to, you know, have the sort of the infrastructure to achieve any business that they wanted to, right? One thing was water. If you look at all of these villages, and this is not the only one I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to make a comparison later with another village, and you see that this is actually a sort of a template for how they made these communities for these Chinese peasantry, right? They would give him a basic, need of water. So they would have a piece of water. This water looks very brown. They're not always like this. So obviously this is not a very agricultural community. This looks more like a residential area. We can go into the middle here. This looks more like a residential area. But what they would do is they give them the need if they need water, they give them water as a whole river, right? A manufactured river for them. Wall it up, and you see those kinds of walls that pond had. It's all the same, with stairs going down to it if they needed to wash clothes or grab water, or I don't know, fucking get on a boat or something to go into the river if they need to fish or something. And the other thing would be a public bathroom. So if you go around here, you notice that there's public bathrooms every about 100 meters or so. There's these public bathrooms. Let me see if I can find one. I have actually yet not specified exactly a public bathroom. And I don't know if you can see into that alley there. There was actually some building going on. Yeah, they're right there as well. Some manufacturing, refurbishing of what you want to call it, right there. And that's quite common. That's quite common. We'll get into that later as well. So you got bathrooms, ponds, and also what? A temple, right? For the religious needs, for the cultural needs. So pretty much giving you everything that you need in order for you to sustain yourself in the village, making a business. We're all agricultural communities, so food was not necessarily, it's not like they had to open up shops, but there's shops here as well. And this is what it looks like. Squared off pieces like this. You might be thinking, why is it so tall? Well, that is actually up to the residents themselves, that they wanted to make these buildings quite tall, because the lot of the land wasn't, it's not like whoever's richest could buy the most. No, these were allocated out to the workers, to the farmers, to the peasants, and you couldn't get more than what you had. So as time has passed on, these people have obviously become quite rich, at least to Western standards. I don't think you could ever build a home this goddamn big in the West and not be considered somewhat wealthy, right? However, we get into that. It's like they're actually not wealthy. These are probably they're not poor, but this is not necessarily what I would consider to be wealthy in the society. But I mean, as you can see, they have cars, they have everything. I mean, look at these buildings. This is, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories? 5 stories tall, counting the bottom one. The solution was to build it on the heights. That's how Japan also does it, right? Because they obviously they lack a lot of land in that city of millions in Tokyo. So they would build them really high up, and as you can see, they also extend the rooms to make them bigger than what the base level is, in order to get more space in the second floors and up. They also extend out quite a bit. And as I said, this is because they want more room for their families, and the families can get very large, so they would expand them out just like this. And because these are from peasant times, it's not quite uncommon to see that the families that live here, many of them share their last name with each other. Quite interesting. They share their last name with each other. And as you can, I just want to point out, there's doors open here. I mean, we're talking about, people keep asking me, is China safe and whatnot? China is very, very, very safe. As you can see, I mean, there's bars on the, outside here to stop people from committing burglary and so on. But I just want to point out one thing about that, these bars. China was not obviously always safe. Far from it. It was definitely quite dangerous here, I would say, even 5 years ago. A lot has changed. And when I say a lot has changed, this society has fundamentally, completely changed after, I don't want to get political into it, but after the last government, after the last administration came to power. And the projects that they had for especially combating absolute poverty. So things, petty thievery and these kind of stuff, they just, I would honestly say it doesn't exist anymore in China. Of course, you still have crazy people that kill, knife children and so on in the kindergartens, but you don't have economic criminality, right? Criminals based on economy. That essentially doesn't exist anymore. Although, I'm speaking from my perspective, for what I can tell and what I've asked around about from other people, it surely does seem that to be completely defeated. And I'm getting really intimate now with these buildings. I'm really getting into places that I'm not sure if I should even be here, but just it kind of also demonstrates how relaxed and safe and how carefree it is around here. I am here on a, what day is it today? I'm here on a Friday morning, right? So clearly you're not going to be having, better not catching on these lines with the camera. So you're not going to be having a lot of people being at home, but you still have old people, young people still at home because of the summer break. So they're still around, and I'm, I am just inches away from people's living rooms, and you can see I'm filming all of it, and no one cares. And keep that in mind, no one really cares about what's going on here. In fact, I'm going to walk this last path here because it's getting a little bit too tight to ride this and try to commentate at the same time while keeping an eye on that camera, because that camera is getting really close to that lamp right there. So, and then you have these buildings in the inner part here as well. And this is exactly what they would look like, the older villages, right? These tile bricked, not tile, these bricked houses just like this. And this is the old style. These could be pretty much from the 1950s if I don't know any better, but that's what I would say. They're short with a sloped roof, very simple like that, and they would house the family of that individual worker, how many people they were. And as you can see, they're not very big, they're kind of small. People still live in them, if you notice it in the back there. There's still people inside of them. Some people did develop their lot of land, made it into businesses, or just expanded it for them to be able to support their families. Some did not. That's pretty much up to the success of that family and their plans. Here you can see the older styles here, and a lot of these, like added in power lines for all these people that need the power. But it's a quite different dynamic in terms of how this country was developed. This is where it all started. Keep in mind, I want to, preface, I am not an expert in any way, but you see these kids here. This is how it all started here in China. It came from these peasantry, these land reform is what made China what it is today. Ni hao. And that's what I wanted to really show you this, and I will compare this later to other parts of Foshan, where you can see as well some other parts, some other villages, and you make a comparison. And you start to notice, there's actually quite similarity. Yeah, the fenced-off pond, the bathroom, the blah blah blah, and then the materials, it's actually not that expensive to renovate these things. They obviously accommodate them with options that are cheaper, and you can see the kind of tiles that they use, and the methodology. Obviously, if you want to, you can build them very differently and more exotic looking. It's going to cost you just a little bit more money, but this is mass-produced, parts that are much easier for them to sort of spread out to these people and these project managers that renovate these buildings. But I find it quite beautiful, I mean, look at that balcony, You wouldn't want to own a place like this? Kind of nice. And as I said, you might be thinking, these are rich people. These are not rich people at all. These are, some of them, I would even argue they're poor. Not at all. And that's the beauty of it. When you have land reform, you give people the power to actually invest in their future, make their own future that they want, right? Some people choose not to. I don't want to be mean, but, and some people do, right? Now, not every village looks like this. This is quite a nice village, I would have to say. The other villages, they're more sort of commercialized. They use the bottom space for rentals, or they, barbershop, any other thing that they might see, fit or necessary to make an income. There's many different kinds of ways of doing it, but look at this. I mean, just look at that. And there's a woman there that we saw before that lived in there. Absolutely beautiful, right? Absolutely gorgeous. And it's a very relaxed area, as you can see. And I think I made that quite clear. So yeah, that's a little bit about this place. And I definitely wanted to take that opportunity to show people around and these kind of things. When I talk about China, and I talk about like how it's different from the West, it's kind of hard to really explain these things. But when you see it yourself, I think it makes a little big difference. And then obviously they have basketball courts. These are funded more so by the community themselves. So the community is self-governed here. You know, the government in the beginning, we're talking about, you know, about 70 years ago, they supported them obviously because they needed to. These were poor people. They had nothing. And they were, you know, their whole world was completely radically changed in a matter of a few years. But now they have their own money, so, you know, they make these play parks. They maybe invest a little bit in this like mini park or whatnot you want to see, right? And that's what it looks like. And this is the village. So this is one way you can live in China historically, is if you were part of the peasantry and you would get free land, and that would translate into a lot of opportunity and, you know, wealth. Now, we're not going to go and see other residential areas today, or maybe we will. I don't know. I don't think so. Now I want to take you to a farm, right? We're gonna go to a farm, and we're gonna look at what does Chinese, you know, agriculture look today. I mean, as you can see right now, we're in the city essentially, but this is obviously not the like middle of the city. But I want to show you how farms are sort of integrated into the whole city landscape, whereas in the West, it's more so on the outskirts. And it's an old way of living. It's not supported today by the cities and the inner cities. But what you have to understand is that, see, I don't want to use so many, but I don't care. I'm just going to talk the way I want, right? So communism is all about giving the power to the workers. And what does that mean? Well, if the workers are agricultural, it's not like you're going to replace them with, you know, factory work like they did in England during the Industrial Revolution. No, the workers' needs comes first. The workers' means of sustaining themselves comes first. And because that translates into the agricultural communities really never go away from China. They always exist. And when you see what you will see here in a moment is that you have these massive plots of land just made for agriculture, just popping up essentially in the middle of the city. And we got some cops here that you can look, see how chill they are. Completely, you know, I don't know what they're doing there, but, you know, people think that like, it's like authoritarian. You know, I don't know what the fuck people think. It's so stupid. Now, just the area that we're running through right now, this is a factory town. This is well, I don't know if it's, technically that's what it's called, but this area is just mainly for factories. And if you look at all these places that you can rent out, they're all for factories. Usually, they're accommodated by a village. As you can see, this is a village on the left side. And the way you can tell that is by the shape of the buildings, how they're narrow and tall, right? Whereas the factory is all completely flush with each other, with these big spaces accommodating the manufacturing inside. Like this, for example, right? And mostly with the color scheme of white. Or some sort of shitty light blue, right? But as you can see as well, they gated in. Those communities, those villages are usually gated in. But it's not high security like it is in a garden, where I live in a garden. But it is, you know, substantial enough where cars don't get in there and just cause a bunch of, you know, clogging of the parking spaces, which is important. Now, you can look at this area over here. We have, this is like I think this is Foshan's like water pump station, literally where they control all the water. I know for sure the right side is. I know that. I'm not sure what this is. This is maybe a police station, but whatever it is, it's absolutely beautiful. You can see that, you know, color scheme. Not pretty sure it is a police station, but look at that color scheme. I mean, Shenzhen International, Shenzhen. Oh, actually, it looks to be some sort of tech company. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I really can't tell. It's gonna just make sure that the camera is fine. Yeah, seems to be fine. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, seems to be no problems here. Perfect. All right. Now, I don't know how long this camera can go on producing, but We'll see. Oh, sorry. This is the police right there. That's the police. That glass blue building. That's the police. The one that was back there. That was Shenzhen International. I don't know. And this is the water pump station, which I think, yeah, the previous one that I showed before. I'm not sure it is connected to that building. But yeah, they control all the water somehow from here. I don't know. I just know it's a water pump station. Whatever that means. What the fuck is a water pump station? So, it's getting a little bit more rural looking, right? But it's not rural, because if you look at the back, cityscape back there, you see there's more buildings going on there, and actually it gets more sort of city back there. But look at this. Look at where we're at right now. These are the farms. You can see some farms back there already. But I want to take you all in here and show you one of the places I took my mom and brother when they came to visit here in China. You know, these rivers, artificially made, all to accommodate the farming. You know, they planned out the farming. They say to the agricultural community, you know, if you want to be more serious and not just hobby farm, because a lot of the farming that goes on into the villages, now we didn't see any farms in the villages, but they're more so small scale hobby. Or, you take it and you sell it at the, you know, local streets, like street vendor, right? They sell the crops that they gain on literally the streets. And one of the reasons, I love that, right? But one of the reasons why food is so extremely cheap here in China, because it is available everywhere. It is supported and it's being sustained everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh, outside in the country, oh, it's so cheap here, you know, Carl's fucking milk and shit. Like, no, it's everywhere, right? Now, this is not the farm. We haven't actually reached it yet. This is just like infrastructure building up to it. But you know, nothing says that you can't turn this plot of land into a farmland. They just haven't done that. That's fine. As an individual, you have to invest in it, right? And it's just no need for that. Probably not enough farmers that actually work as a career farmer to be able to do that. But inside there, oh, those are the fucking dogs that haunt me at night, I swear to God. The dogs here, though. I mean, China, it's safe, but I'm telling you, if you fucking meet these dogs, man, you be ready to fucking fight. Dogs are fucking ruthless, I'm telling you. And fortunately, I mean, there was only one time I was on foot, and they kind of like started barking, but they didn't do anything, thankfully. But man, I've been fucking chased so many times by these dogs. I usually do some crazy shit just to like scare them off. And look at that. Now that is interesting. I've never seen this before. It's like in-house. What is this? An isolated indoor fishing. Or not indoors, but that's kind of interesting. I didn't know they'd catch the fish like that. I would assume they could just use the net. But you can also use baits. That's very interesting. Now, is it legal to do that? I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not, or if, you know, laws are kind of lax here. I don't care. I don't know if these are private individuals fishing on a fish farm, right? Or how it works. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to tell you, I would not be surprised. It could be the case, but as I said, you know, if it's not too crazy of a thing, they get away with it. It's fine. Or maybe they're part of that, you know, whatever, that organization and that's how they like extract the fish from the goddamn fish farm. I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like a very efficient way of doing it to me. That's what I'm saying. They could be private individuals. Now, look at that. Here you go. These are the farms. Vast lands of, you know, professional farms. Look at that, you know. People in the old days, usually older, right? Because they're the ones that know how to work the land. They come from the peasantry that, you know, 70 years ago, that these were the farmers that pretty much fed the whole country. And now look at this, right? And I don't know if I should go in there. I guess I could, right? I guess I could. I could just take a quick trip in there. Or I could continue this road. You know what? I actually kind of wanted to go in here. I want to go in here and get a little more intimate, closer look. And we can see how people, you know, what they're doing and so on. Got another guy looking. He's going to start to fish here. Oh, actually, yeah, I saw a fish right there. There's fish in this fucking water right here, isn't there? That's quite amazing. Fish, just cheap as hell. You know, pork, cheap as hell. The only thing that really costs money here is like sheep, but not in Xinjiang. Xinjiang, it's cheap as hell. And beef, right? Beef is a little bit more expensive here because you don't have a lot of like beef farming. You don't have like cattle like that. But they got some interesting kind of like fish sort of consumption choices here. They have these small fish that you can just plop into your mouth and you eat them with the whole bones and all, because they're so small that, you know, the bones, it's not really even bones, they just chew them up. I kind of like that. It's really nice. And I'm assuming they get them from these like small little ponds like this, and they dry them up, you know, like dried jerky. And you know, you can eat it like that. Oh, you can't eat it like that, sorry, I shouldn't say it. You have to cook them, right? You have to cook them. But that's what they look like nonetheless. Keeps it fresh, doesn't decay, you know. You dry something like that, you can keep it around forever, salt them a little bit, it keeps them. But yeah, then you got all a bunch of these farmlands, and I don't know what the hell that looks like grass, but apparently I'm sure it's some kind of food. And yeah, and where is this? You know, I mean, I can get here in 5 minutes, right? Because the village that we were at before, it was not more than 10 seconds away from where I live. I live right next to it, right? So this place is just, yeah, it's literally 5 minutes away from where I live. And that's how it is. It's very common view. You can just find these vast areas of farming right in the middle of the city, smack dab in the middle. Get all your fucking farming done, get all the food prices down to accommodate the local markets. Fresh, by the way, straight from the, and the cool thing and what I love about this, you got your old grocery stores, you know, which it's not, I mean, I should say new grocery stores, right? The new way where it comes from all over fucking China, and you can buy it at that grocery store. You know, they fucking, you know, they get all the fucking resources, and they open up a fucking, you know, supermarket like that, and you can go get that. That exists. But you know what also exists? These farmers coming themselves, what they couldn't sell off to like these big companies, they take them, they put them on the back of their like bike, they go straight to the streets, and you can buy them straight from the streets, fresh as all hell, for a lower price, better quality, no fucking fuck with them, anything like that. All this shit is fresh, right? I have yet to see one time they spray pesticide on these things. Nothing like that. Nothing. I don't see a lot of animals either to, you know, fucking fuck with these things. But yeah, whatever. That's an old thing. You know what? Let's go into this whole area over here. Why not? What area? Well, this village that's over here. Now, before we continue, I'm gonna have a quick look at my battery levels and how much I can record. And if I am kind of running out, we'll stop it right there. But today was kind of chill. I kind of like this whole way of doing it. So let's see. Oh, I still have 63. You know what? Oh, what the hell's going on there? You know what? I think I can keep going here. I kind of like how this one looks. It looks very beautiful. They all look beautiful, by the way. I mean, I don't want to, you know, all these villages always look very beautiful. So let's get inside. I was talking about where you can live in China as historically where the populations came from. You know, it differs from the West, where the West was, the Industrial Revolution took everyone from, you know, the whole society. It went from being agricultural to industrial, and then you got the, you know, cities, and then consumerism, and you know, it shifted everything to what it is now, which is like, what is it? I mean, it's, you know, it's just consumerism. It's just that's all it is. There's no real production going on, and you know, it's fiat currencies, just money for money's sake. It makes no sense, right? But here it's completely different. Then you got the city dwellers, and they built affordable housing for them as well. Which, you know, there was no guard rails or anything like that. There's no like, you know, anyone can come in there, they can park their cars, there's no protection from that kind of stuff. But they're very, very accommodating, cheap apartments, sort of apartment complexes that I could probably check out later. My girlfriend actually, or my wife, comes from those kind of societies. The inner city, sort of, inner city, you know, I'm saying that everything is together, right? This is a society that was built on, you know, the foundations of their traditions. This is not something that is, you know, alienating itself from any of its history. So When I say this and that, they're right next to each other. I could literally go over here and probably see one of these apartment complexes. But for the sake of the video, I want to keep like this kind of nice vibe right here where we can just like look around, you know, the villages, because I think the villages are beautiful, right? We're just going to keep ourselves to the villages. And look at that, factory town. As I told you, the factory, the village, right next to each other. It wouldn't be completely off the, you know, it wouldn't be completely foreign that the people that work in the factory actually live right there. And I'm not talking about the workers necessarily. I'm talking about the owners. Yeah, factories right here. And obviously right next to the villages. Very organic. Obviously, this is how it should have looked like anywhere in the world. If you give the people the power to control their manufacturing, their means of production, why would it not be right next to where they live? Clearly, it would, right? And so you might wonder, like, why the hell do I have to go to work every day? You know, fucking 50 minutes into the city to work and then come back to, you know, it doesn't make any sense. Because you know why? Because you were not in control. That's the reality, my friend. You were not in control. This is one of those ponds that they build for like the support of these villages. However, you can see it's kind of like grown over with these wild, you know, things and stuff like that. If it's neglected, it's neglected. But it doesn't mean that they didn't have the option to use it when they needed to. They didn't need to, so it's just been neglected. It's completely fine, right? Now, I do wonder, should I go outside? Nah, let's keep going here into these cities. Yeah. Into this village here. Have a look around, get a little bit more intimate. Again, you see these low buildings. You know, when they're not on the outside, they got their lower sites out here. Yeah. Old style. This is the old style. And I've seen inside before. You know, it doesn't look too bad, but it's not as nice as the renovated ones. They're renewed one, refurbished. Version 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know exactly how these look. That's how it looks like in there, right there. It's not terrible, but it's not also, I mean, what do you expect, you know? Now that one was used more for like a storage area. We'll see. We'll see if people talk about how okay this is. Now this is getting really bumpy here. And I'm also looking at these power lines. They can get quite low sometimes. I really definitely don't want to bump into my X4 into that. So yeah, inside here, you still got these little projects, whatever they're doing. You know, they got businesses going on here. Either they're sorting out some like items that they have, or they're doing, you know, just storage with it, or I don't know what they're doing with these, but oh, temple right there, temple. Keep in mind, I told you before, temple, right? They always have these like fundamentals, right? The bathroom, temple, and the waters, as we saw. I have yet to find a bathroom, have I? Right? I believe so. I believe I've yet to find a bathroom. I mean, I'm sure I've found one. I just haven't pointed it out. They have a specific look. They have no doors. They have like a wall that's covering it, and then the wall is covering another wall. In the, you know, the gap between where they overlap, that's where you go in. That's like where you walk in. Simple stuff. It's not something, you know. It's not a shower, by the way. It is not a shower. So how they accommodated their showering, I'm not sure actually. Maybe they just wash themselves in the river. You have to understand this kind of thing was made from literally, you know, 70 years ago. So, or at least the project was started from there. The thought of it was started from there. So I don't know. And yeah, that's what it looks like. Now let's. Oh shit. Whoa. You know what? Let's ride down this road here. Oh, fuck, get up. Let's ride down this road here and start ending the video. All right. Yeah, let's go. Let's get some cool shots in. I have no idea where I am. Loving it. Woo-hoo! And I think we'll end it on there for today. That'll be it. Whoop. Let's do a little woo, right? Okay. Cool. Take care. Hope you enjoyed that one. Gonna try to do more of these. Do more of these interesting ones. Bye-bye.